Here is a question I want you to sit with for a moment before we get into anything else. How much do you actually know about the credit card sitting in your wallet right now? Not the card number, not the expiration date. I mean the actual mechanics of it. The interest rate structure, the grace period rules, the way your utilization ratio affects your credit score, the specific rewards categories and whether you are earning the maximum rate on each purchase you make, the benefits buried in the cardholder agreement that you have never used, the negotiation levers that most cardholders do not even know exist. If you are being honest with yourself, the answer is probably that you know less than you think you do. And that gap between what you think you know and what you actually know about your credit card is not just an academic problem. It is costing you money. Real, measurable, recoverable money that is leaving your pocket every single month and flowing directly into the coffers of the credit card companies who have spent billions of dollars making sure you never look too closely at the details. The credit card industry in the United States generates over $150 billion in revenue every single year. A significant portion of that revenue comes not from merchants paying interchange fees, but from cardholders making specific, predictable, well-documented mistakes that the industry has studied, optimized around, and in many cases deliberately designed its products to encourage. The minimum payment is not an accident. The complexity of rotating reward categories is not an accident. The way statements are formatted to make interest charges look smaller than they are is not an accident. These are features of a system built to extract maximum value from the average cardholder's inattention. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on every major credit card mistake that is costing people money right now, and we are going to replace every bad habit with a specific, actionable alternative that puts you on the right side of this system. Welcome to Klux One Finance. Let us get into it. The first and most financially destructive mistake that people make with credit cards is paying only the minimum payment. And I want to spend real time on this one because the minimum payment trap is one of the most dangerous mechanisms in all of personal finance. And most people who are caught in it do not fully understand the math of what is happening to them. Every credit card statement you receive includes a minimum payment. It is usually somewhere between 1% and 3% of your outstanding balance, or a fixed dollar amount like $25, whichever is greater. And on the surface, paying the minimum feels like responsible behavior. You got the bill. You paid something. You avoided a late fee. You kept the account in good standing. Everything feels fine. But here is what is actually happening underneath that surface. When you pay only the minimum, the remaining balance begins accruing interest at your card's annual percentage rate. The average credit card APR in the United States right now is somewhere between 20 and 29% annually. On a $5,000 balance at 24% APR, you are being charged approximately $100 in interest every single month, when your minimum payment is somewhere around $125. Only about $25 of that payment is actually reducing your balance. The other $100 is going straight to the bank as pure profit. And here is where the math becomes genuinely alarming. If you have a $5,000 balance at 24% APR and you pay only the minimum every month, it will take you over 15 years to pay off that balance. And over those 15 years, you will have paid more than $7,000 in interest alone on top of the original $5,000 debt. You borrowed $5,000 and you paid back over $12,000. For the privilege of spreading your payments out over a decade and a half, this is not a hypothetical horror story designed to scare you. These are the actual numbers that the credit card companies are required to disclose on your statement, buried in a section that most people never read. The credit card industry calls it the minimum payment warning, and regulations require it to be included on every statement. Most people read past it without registering what it actually means for their financial life. The correct behavior is simple in principle, even if it requires discipline in practice. Pay your statement balance in full every single month. Not the minimum, not most of it, all of it. When you pay your full statement balance by the due date, you pay zero interest on your purchases because of the grace period that credit cards provide. Your rewards are pure profit. Your credit utilization resets. And you are using the credit card exactly the way it was designed to be used by the people who understand it. The moment you carry a balance from one month to the next, the economics of credit card ownership shift dramatically against you, and the rewards you earn become largely irrelevant compared to the interest you are paying. If you are currently carrying credit card balances, the most important financial priority in your life right now is paying them off. Not investing, not saving for a vacation, not optimizing your reward strategy. Eliminating the balance. A guaranteed 24% return, which is what you get by paying off a 24% APR credit card debt, is the best risk-adjusted return available anywhere in the financial universe. Nothing in the stock market, nothing in real estate, nothing in crypto offers a guaranteed 24% return. Pay off the balance. The second mistake is using the wrong card for every purchase. And this one is costing people money in a much quieter way than carrying a balance. But it adds up to hundreds of dollars per year for the average person running a multi-card setup incorrectly. We have talked about card stacking in previous videos, the strategy of using 2 to 3 cards, each optimized for a different spending category, to maximize rewards across all your spending. But knowing the strategy and executing it are two different things, and the execution is where most people fall apart. Here is what happens in practice. Someone has a strong dining and grocery card that earns 4 points per dollar on food, a travel card that earns 2 to 3 points on travel, and a flat rate card that earns 2% on everything else. That is a good setup. But when they are standing at the grocery store checkout or paying at a restaurant, they reach into their wallet and grab whichever card their hand lands on first. Maybe it is the travel card. Maybe it is the flat rate card. Neither one earns 4 points on food. Both earn less than half the rate the dining card would have earned on that exact purchase. Multiply that by every grocery run, every restaurant meal, every delivery order, every coffee, every lunch for an entire year. The difference between consistently using the right card. The third mistake is ignoring credit utilization. And this is the mistake that quietly destroys credit scores for people who think they are managing their credit responsibly. Credit utilization is the ratio of your current credit card balance to your total available credit limit, and it is the second most important factor in your FICO credit score after payment history. Most people have a vague understanding that high utilization is bad, but very few people understand the specific thresholds that matter. So if you spend $3,000 on a card with a $4,000 limit during the month, and your statement closes before you pay the balance, the Bureau sees 75% utilization on that card, even if you pay it in full 2 weeks later when the due date arrives. Your score takes the hit before the payment is registered. The solution is to pay your balance down before the statement closing date if your balance is running high relative to your limit, or to request a credit limit increase from your card issuer, which reduces your utilization ratio on the same spending. Most major card issuers will grant a credit limit increase to card holders with a strong payment history after 12 to 18 months of account ownership, often without a hard inquiry on your credit report. A higher limit on the same spending behavior means lower utilization, means a higher credit score. This is one of the highest leverage moves available for improving your credit score without changing any of your spending. The fourth mistake is missing the fine print on rewards, and the credit card industry is exceptionally good at advertising the most attractive features of their products while burying the limitations and conditions in language that most people never read. The result is that millions of cardholders believe they are earning rewards at a rate they are not actually receiving, or they let significant value expire unused because they did not understand the rules around redemption. Some of the most commonly misunderstood reward structures include spending caps on bonus categories. A card that advertises 4% on groceries may cap that rate at $6,000 in annual grocery spending, reverting to 1% after the cap is hit. If you spend $10,000 on groceries annually and you hit that cap in August, you are earning 1% for the last 4 months of the year, while assuming you are still earning 4%. That is a significant difference in real rewards earned versus what you expected to earn. Category definitions are another common source of confusion. Not all grocery stores qualify for grocery category rewards on all cards. Warehouse clubs like Costco and Sam's Club are frequently excluded. Superstores like Walmart and Target are often coded differently from traditional grocery chains. If you do most of your food shopping at Costco and your card excludes warehouse clubs from its grocery category, you may be earning 1% on purchases you believe are earning 4 or 5%. Points expiration is another area where people lose value they have legitimately earned. Some rewards programs expire points after a period of account inactivity. Others expire all points if the account is closed. Understanding the expiration rules of every rewards program you participate in and ensuring you maintain activity in accounts you want to keep active is basic maintenance that most people neglect until the moment they log in to redeem points and discover their balance is zero. The simplest fix for fine print issues is to spend 30 minutes reading the full rewards terms and conditions for every card you carry, not the marketing summary, the actual terms. It is not exciting reading, but the one-time investment of 30 minutes per card will save you from years of earning less than you expected and losing value you did not know was at risk. The fifth mistake is emotional spending on credit, and this is probably the most psychologically complex mistake on this list, because it sits at the intersection of personal finance and human behavior in a way that pure financial education does not always address effectively. Credit cards create a documented psychological distance from spending that cash does not. When you hand over physical cash for a purchase, your brain registers the loss of something tangible. Studies consistently show that people spend less, make more deliberate choices, and experience more spending regret in real time when paying with cash compared to a card. Credit cards remove that immediate pain of payment. The transaction happens instantly, the money does not visibly leave, and the consequence, the credit card bill, arrives weeks later when the emotional context of the original purchase has long since faded. This psychological dynamic is most dangerous when people are in emotional states that compromise decision-making, stress spending, boredom spending, retail therapy after a difficult week, impulse purchases driven by fear of missing out on a sale. All of these behaviors are dramatically amplified when the payment method creates distance from the immediate financial consequence. And here is the insidious part. When these emotional purchases end up on a credit card that carries a balance, the financial damage compounds in both directions simultaneously. The purchase itself was probably not worth the price, even at face value. The sixth mistake is never negotiating with your credit card company, and this is the mistake that most surprises people because most cardholders have no idea that negotiation is even possible. Your credit card company is not a fixed, immutable institution handing down terms from on high that you have no choice but to accept. It is a business that wants to keep your account, and like most businesses, it has levers that customer service representatives can pull when a valuable customer is at risk of leaving. The most commonly negotiated items are the annual fee, the interest rate, and late payment fees. Regarding the annual fee, if you have held a premium card for more than a year and you call the retention department, not regular customer service, specifically the retention department, and mention that you are considering canceling the card because of the annual fee, there is a meaningful probability that the representative will offer you a retention bonus, statement credits, bonus points, a reduced fee for the coming year. Card issuers have calculated exactly how much it costs them to acquire a new customer versus retain an existing one. And retention offers exist precisely because keeping a good customer is almost always less expensive than finding a new one. You will never know what retention offer might be available to you unless you make the call. Regarding the interest rate, if you have a strong payment history with a card and your credit score has improved since you opened the account, calling to request a lower APR is a legitimate option that works more often than most people expect. You are not guaranteed a reduction, but issuers frequently accommodate the request for long-standing customers with clean histories, and even a few percentage points of reduction on a balance you are carrying can save meaningful money. The credit card industry makes billions of dollars every year from people who never took the time to understand these rules. The information exists. The tools exist. The only thing standing between most people and a fundamentally better financial relationship with their credit cards is the decision to pay attention. You just made that decision by watching this video. The next step is acting on it. Subscribe to Clux One Finance, hit the bell notification, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and I will see you in the next one.